Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Donald Leonard, your certified real estate coach, and this is our Thursday Thrust. So I don't know about you, but I absolutely love Throwback Thursdays. Okay, let me rephrase that. I absolutely used to love Throwback Thursdays. Now, it's fun to look back at some of those old pictures and think about, wow, did I really look like that? Did I really do that? Was that really me? But we know that those things that we did way back when, the way that we looked, the way that we thought, impacts us today. And so today I want to talk a little bit about the formula that I'm sure you probably have seen before, and that is how our thoughts lead to our feelings, and our feelings are going to lead to our actions or inaction, and those actions or that lack of action is going to lead to our results. So over the next few weeks, we're going to take each one of these components and break it down just a little bit. So for today, we're going to talk about the thoughts. Where do the thoughts come from? How do I control the thoughts? What do I need to be thinking in order to be able to move forward into the other things that I need to move into? And so what we know about thoughts, a few things. Number one, I can only think about one thing at a time. Good or bad, I can only think about one thing at a time. So I need to try to keep as many good thoughts as I possibly can, because if I let the bad thoughts come in, too many bad thoughts, then it's going to have an impact later on. And so where do these thoughts come from? Well, some of them are my own. Some of them are influenced by outside sources. So I need to create a barrier here. Not necessarily a wall, but a barrier. A barrier that I can control as much as I can, to where the good stuff has a way to get in and the bad stuff can get deflected as much as possible. Because I know, since I can only think about one thing at a time, that more of the good thoughts that I have coming in, the better off I am. So either good or bad. Another thing that we know about thoughts and input coming from the outside is the closer the source, the harder the impact, or the more impact that has. When I was a kid in Smithton, Missouri, on Fridays in PE, we used to play a game called Murder Ball. Murder Ball's like dodgeball, in that if you don't dodge the ball, it's going to murder you. And especially with a kid that we had named Jacob Drum. Jacob could throw that ball so hard that you could just feel the wall shake when that ball hit the wall. If it missed you and it hit the wall, you just knew when it finally eventually hit you, and it always would, you knew what kind of impact it was going to have. And normally it didn't hit until he was so close that it really made an impact. So murder ball starts out that you play it on a basketball court. You put balls on the center line, and then each team lines up against the wall on opposite ends, and then when the coach blows the whistle, you run towards the ball. Whoever gets the ball can start throwing it to the other side. But you're at the half-court line. So at the half-court line, that ball that's coming at you, if you've backed up all the way back to your wall, that impact is not going to be nearly as severe. In fact, you could deflect it. And the way that you could deflect it, the way that you could defend yourself, was by catching the ball. If you catch that ball, they're out. Same thing with thoughts. If I've got thoughts coming from way out here, I've got plenty of time where I can do something about it. Or even if they happen to get through, how much impact do they really have as far as I'm concerned? This is some outside source. It's not anybody who knows me. It's not anybody who cares about me. It's not anybody who has my best interest at heart. They probably couldn't care less about me. So if source is far away, I have the ability to deflect that, or I have the ability to defend that. But what about the closer these sources get? That's what happens in murder ball. When at some point in time the coach blows his whistle, the other team cannot advance now just to the half-court line. They can advance to the three-point line. Now they're much closer. The impact of that input is more impact. So now the closer my source is, the less time I have to react to that, and the more credence I'm going to give that, because here, these are people, maybe they know me a little bit, maybe they care about me a little bit, and so this impact could be more severe. Well, as in murder ball, the three-point line eventually becomes the free throw line. And now you are like literally feet away, a few feet away from the poor people who are lined up against that wall. Same thing here. Here you are. People who are closest to you are going to have a great amount of impact in the way that you think about yourself. So you've heard it before. Who do you surround yourself with? Well, you want to surround yourself with people who have the ability to support you. People who will do the things and say the things necessary to make you feel good about yourself, to give you the feeling later on that you have the ability to do what needs to be done. So the source of this input is very important. So we do want to make sure that the impact that comes in, that we try to control it as much as we can. We let the good stuff in, we try to deflect the bad stuff, but we know that the closer our source is, the more credence it's probably going to have. Now, like I said, one of my favorite sayings is, I can't be it until I can see it. And I'm not necessarily talking about visually, I'm talking about mentally. And if others around me who are close to me can't see it and they cannot express to me how they can see it, it's going to be that much tougher for me to convince myself that I can. Because what do we think? A lot of us think, I am probably a little easier on myself than everybody else is. So I may give myself a little bit of leeway. I may give myself a little bit of latitude and think I can do something, but supposedly all of this input that I have coming in from my support system is supposed to be more objective. Are they? Of course not. They're not more objective, but we think they are. We think everybody else knows more about us than we do. And so we tend to give that a lot of credence when maybe we shouldn't. So okay, so there's our first part of our thoughts lead to our feelings are going to lead to our actions, and our actions are going to lead to our results. So I'm Donald Leonard, I'm your certified real estate coach. This is our Thursday Thrust, and we'll talk again next week.